We've all seen what it's like to survive in a digital-first world. Now, it's time we thrive in it. I created this show to bring you expert insights to help you and your business grow in this new era. Welcome to the Evoke Media Show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Evoke Media Show. My guest today is the CEO of Blue Lotus Consulting and Services, a holistic business development agency dedicated to helping entrepreneurs maximize their reach. She's a master saleswoman and interfaith minister, helping entrepreneurs holistically navigate life and business. My friend, Abbeygale Quinn. Abby, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited.
Yes, absolutely. What really stood out to me about you and bringing you on the show is you have actual passion for sales, and most people don't. Even though it's the fundamental piece of growing a business and attaining profitability, you need to know how to sell, but you bring excitement to it. You bring passion to it. Has that always been the case?
If you were to ask my mom, she would say yes, because that's how I went through childhood, giving her logical arguments, emotional arguments too, as to why my idea was best. And that's why sales is so exciting, because every single human being on the planet needs to be a sales master. If you look at little kids, when they want something, they're selling it nonstop, and they don't stop until they get their way. Now, I'm not quite as pushy as a 4-year-old. I don't actually think I'm very pushy at all. And I don't think you have to be. And that's another thing, not to go off on a tangent unless that's your goal here. A lot of my clients hate the idea of being associated with sales. They want to help people, but they've had bad experience with salespeople. I think that's why most people don't really like the idea, even sales. You can't really help somebody until they have some skin in the game, whether that is in their diet, in their exercise, in their just their personal development. You have to be able to invest something. When people have something for free, they don't really, they just toss it to the side. If somebody gives you a book for Christmas, you're gonna throw that thing on the shelf. You're never gonna touch it. But if you had to walk your butt down to the store and pay for that thing with your own hard-earned money, you're probably at least gonna crack it open. So sales is, like I said, absolutely necessary. I think that's why get so excited about it. But it's also fun because you get to watch the transformation after somebody says yes. And I think that's why I'm probably as energetic about it as I am.
One of the best pieces of advice that kind of helped me shift my perspective around sales and make it feel less like trying to convince someone of anything. I'm trying to get something from them, which if that's how you feel, you're probably doing something wrong. But I heard this line that stuck with me of, when you get into a sales conversation, the only goal should be to help the other person make the best decision for them. And when I wrapped my head around that of, okay, well, if that best decision is working with me, outstanding. But if not, that's okay. I'm just here to help them. Regardless of my, I'm not trying to get anything from them. I'm just here to help them. And having that attitude has helped me kind of wrestle with sales a little bit differently.
Yeah, it is a lot about helping somebody. I know there are a lot of unscrupulous people out there who will try to push anything on you, even if it's not a good fit for you. I don't think that that's as prevalent as we should be, or we are taught to believe, or people want us to believe. In my experience, and maybe I'm just fortunate to have been surrounded by amazing people, and I don't really tolerate non-amazing people. Most people feel that way. Most people do. They just want to help you. I don't think that that's healthy for anyone. I think that hurts you as the salesperson to try to push something or even serve someone with something that you don't believe in. I forget who said it. I'm sure it's been said by every single great salesperson on the planet. But the hardest sale you'll ever make is selling yourself on what it is that you're offering. And if you're not sold, pack it in. Go get a job, because it's never going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. The believing yourself, the value of what you offer, and then having the the certainty and clarity of what it actually is that you're selling, the value you're bringing, the transformation that you're offering, what it will do for the person you're selling to.
If you can help someone, just let them know. I'm not sure if this is going to work for you, but we're going to give it our best and we're going to try it out. And I think people appreciate that honesty. It's not, you don't see a lot of that. Some people will fake confidence in it to get the sale. But one of the reasons I think I'm so good at it is because I have no filter. I have no pretense. I'm about as real as it gets. That does not go well in a corporate situation, which is why I don't have a corporate job.
And if you don't, if you probably were trying to sell something you didn't believe in as much. You mentioned you're good at, when you're good at something, you're going to like it more. What are 3 or 4 just really action-oriented, practical tips for getting better at sales?
You have to take action and you have to do it. You will not get better until you put yourself in that situation. And 90% of my clients are little on the introverted side. And it's really hard to get them to open up and to talk to people. And obviously, all of the reasons we've already mentioned, they're afraid to be put in that sales category. But you will not get better until you practice at it. You have to train. It's just like anything else. You need coaching, you need mentorship, you need to take courses, you need to read, you need to study. If you don't do that, nobody's a natural born salesperson. It is a learned skill. 1, 2, and 3 are all the same. Get out there and do it and you will get better at it. And get some help. Get a coach. Get somebody who can help you out. There's so many of them out there, which I guess not all of them are great, but find somebody that you resonate with, you'll be able to tell.
I love the point you just made of nobody's naturally born a great salesperson. And I think so many of us, I think that we broaden it out to natural charisma, where you just, they're just, they've got such a great personality. They're just born that way. Maybe, but more often than not, people have kind of developed themselves into who they are, whether they intended to or not. And I think it's remiss of us to just assume that if we're not, very naturally charismatic or a great public speaker or a great salesperson, that we can't become one.
I think that's where we went awry. I was talking about why I love sales so much. I really wish I could remember what it was. I'm sure it wasn't that important, but it's more, I just want that victory. Yeah. I remembered.
So something that I think a lot of people run into, especially on the phone, but maybe, in pitches and meetings and in general sales scenarios, they tend to get nervous, anxious. How do you handle nerves?
Good question. So I will tell you that I am one of the few people on the planet who enjoys cold calling. And I will be completely honest with you, every single time you pick up the phone and you go to call, it is nerve-wracking. I think you have to be the type of person who enjoys some level of stress. I think you have to be an optimist. I think you need to be able to look at it as almost like a game and have fun with it. If you cannot go into sales having fun and taking some risks and saying some crazy stuff here and there just to, see what works, you're gonna fail because you're gonna hate it.
It's sometimes hard to set that rapport on the phone, and I think that's why so many people get nervous. They just don't have the cues to go off of, and it's kind of more like what I need to say, what I need from this.
I have to disagree with you there. It wasn't until, so my business has been virtual for the last 12 years, and I rarely did any video calls. I did everything over the phone. I think if you are genuine and you have some self-awareness and you put your body and your voice and your tone into the conversation, you can make those connections with people just as easily. Again, maybe a learned skill. So one of my first sales jobs ever, I was a telemarketer. Again, I absolutely loved it. I know there's probably something wrong with me. But one of the things on your first day of training they tell you to do is to smile before you ever pick up the phone. Just smile.
What are just some common mistakes that you see people making, whether in sales or just in business in general? And how can we help them prevent making them?
Okay, in my opinion, the number one reason why businesses fail or entrepreneurs fail is because they don't take enough action in the right direction. You have to get in front of as many people as possible, not through social media. You actually have to do either face-to-face or verbally or whatever it may be. You have to spend more time in front of qualified prospects. And what happens with most people, especially when they're starting out, this doesn't necessarily apply to bigger businesses, although their sales people probably fall victim to call reluctance and that type of thing too, is that people hide behind other tasks. They're like, well, I'm just going to organize my files. I'm going to develop this spreadsheet or this system, or I'm going to work on my social media profile. No, you need to get on the phone and you need to start talking to people or get out there and meet them, because your website is not just going to magically draw in thousands of people all at once. You have to get clients. That's it. Clients. I cannot say it enough. Get clients. If you do that, you can immediately start to outsource some of the other work. There is no reason to be doing your own SEO, your own social media marketing. Sure, if you love to write, that's one thing. Or if you just love to, take selfies and you're good at it, unlike me, or make YouTube videos, absolutely. But barring that, if you're not absolutely in love with the process, you need to start outsourcing it immediately so that you can grow and scale.
I mean, just in, common nomenclature, we bundle like sales and marketing together. Like you hear that all the time, director of sales and marketing, the sales and marketing company. When those are two, they're linked, they're related, there's overlap, but they're different things. And
Absolutely.
So many people focus on like, well, I'm going to market so I can get sales. You could just start at sales.
You have to start at sales, or else you won't know how to market.
Just to fuel the rest.
Right.
And then, or they'll start at like branding stuff, like awareness and like how it, perception and like the things that are like, they need to come later.
Absolutely.
Unless you're like market cap or you're like going national, you're funded and you're going national right out of the gate, and it's this whole rollout. But if you're a small business, a freelancer, something like, you could be a web company, a web design company. You could get clients without a website.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I can't speak for, I'm sure there's exceptions to this rule, but every major company out there, McDonald's started with one location, and they had to serve their clients in that area before they ever had a shot of becoming what they are now. They didn't do a ton of marketing. They did a bunch of service. I mean, the marketing came very quickly, sure, but it was sales. They had to focus on sales. Let's get butts in the seat and let's start making this money so we can take the next step. And you're absolutely right. And that's one of the things that I was trying to point out, is that people hide behind their marketing, their digital marketing in particular. And marketing is pointless if you can't sell. If you can't close a deal, if you can't show the value of your product, it's absolutely worthless to you.
I'm with you. And I think there's some level of insecurity. I had this thought last night while watching a movie of why some people can start a brand new business, brand new industry, like next to no training, experience, anything. But they go in with they attack it. They go out, they talk to everybody, they're everywhere, they do everything, like just tremendous amount of action. Even if it's not like they make mistakes along the way, they kind of figure stuff out, things break, they screw things up, but they just keep moving forward.
That's right.
Versus the people who come in and it takes them 18 months to do any real meaningful change. Like they've been talking about rebranding for 2 years. They're just kind of sitting there. They're just paddling in the pool, not really sure what they're doing. And I had the realization that it came down to definite, clearness of purpose. If you go in with the mentality of, we must slay the dragon. We must complete this thing. We will reach the moon. The how is nowhere in that statement, but, we must accomplish this. We must reach 1 million in sales. How do we do that? And I think, those are the people that do crazy things because they just have such a clear vision of where they're going, and the how kind of figures itself out on the way.
Yes. It's literally how it happens. But you have to take action. That's the big thing. You can't just have an idea and then sit on it You got to keep moving forward.
Yeah. If you had one takeaway from your experience in business, your career, and just condense that down in like one piece of advice, what would that be?
Okay, can you ask the question again?
What's let me rephrase that.
Okay.
If you could give yourself, if you knew what you know now, and you could like give one piece of advice to 18-year-old Abby, what would it be?
Oh, I would tell her about the rule of 5 ones. Do you want to hear about it, RJ?
I definitely do, yeah.
Okay. So it's something that I accidentally kind of figured out that I was doing and I was teaching people to do, but apparently there's a real name for it. Now, I heard about it from Josh Nelson, who wrote the book 7-Figure Agency. He heard about it from Taki Moore, who is the $1 Million Coach. And he got it from, I believe, Clay Collins, who was the founder of Lead Pages. Okay. And then now I'm passing it on to you so you can let people know the lineage. Okay. It is the philosophy of you take one target market, one core service or product, one lead generation strategy, one conversions mechanism or strategy, and 1 year. And if you can focus on that, which nobody can, I can't even do it because I get shiny object syndrome. I get creative. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go do this. And it's really, really hard to stay focused, which is why so many people fail. But even if you can just have that plan, and then if you veer off a little bit, you can always kind of like come back to center. That plan will make you more money faster than anything else. We're talking massive scale from somebody who goes from $0 to millions of dollars very, very quickly. I'm not exaggerating. If you look at any entrepreneur who's been successful, they have likely followed that strategy to some extent without realizing even that there was like a name for it and it was called that. But that is absolutely what I would tell 18-year-old Abby and everybody out there who's trying to build their business. Pick a market, pick a product, focus on it. It took me about, well, I don't want to say that. It probably took me way longer. But even after I decided to follow that strategy very clearly and consciously, it still took me like over a year to figure out exactly what I wanted to do and exactly what I wanted to focus on. And I screwed up so many times, and everybody does. And that's a good problem to have, because you learn from those mistakes. You can share those, especially me in a consulting and coaching capacity. I get to share that stuff with other people so they don't have to go down that road. But also it does help you grow as a person. And I'm not saying that like you should set yourself up to have challenges. Obviously, if you can skate through life, it's probably better, less stress, easier on your body. But you just got to focus. You just got to, just like you said, RJ, you got to keep pushing forward. You don't have to worry about how you're going to make it happen. Just pick something, aim for it, and then go.
I love that. And that's a perfect place to end. That's such a great takeaway, because it's key to really achieving something great. You need to just have single-minded focus on it. And I think that's our key takeaway from this episode.
Can I add one more thing? Wait, RJ, just let me add one more thing, okay? Because this is one of the things, at least with my clients, where they get sidetracked on it and what happens to them. They're always trying to find a balance. They want to have this nice work-life balance, be the great mom or dad, work out so many days out of the week. They want to have this regimented life where they can have this inner peace, which I'm all for, okay? They want to have their spiritual situation established. And what happens is you cannot do that in the very beginning. So anybody out there who's listening to this, you get your balance later. Get your clients now, balance later. It will come so easy to you. All that other stuff that you've been working towards, losing that, 15 pounds or 100 pounds, get in your, I'm not saying don't work on your relationships. I'm not telling you to neglect your family. What I'm saying is they need to come to the table and understand what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to create and manifest in the world. And you need to still go after it like 150%. Okay, I'm done. I said my piece. Continue.
I love that. Abby, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Let me know what the key takeaway was down in the comments. Let's talk about it, and we'll see you next week. Take care.